have witnessed this battle before. They who would stop at nothing to destroy our world. And the heroes who would sacrifice everything to save it. This is the timeline you know. But the past, like the future, is never etched in stone.
Good morning, Azeroth. Broadcasting live from the Trade District of Stormwind.
Hey, who re-rolled an arcane relay through the coffee pot again?
Coffee's done.
Hang on, I think we got it.
This is Azeroth Morning Radio. Warcraft for the rest of us.
And good Tuesday morning, Azeroth. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 3 of Azeroth Morning Radio.
Hello.
It's Warcraft for the rest of us here, the 9-to-5ers, the weekend warriors, those of us who have a sink full of dishes and about 30 minutes to play, but we love Azeroth. So stoked to have you all here with us. We are your hosts. My name is Jibs, and I'm joined by Mr. 8-time toilet bowl cleaner of Dornagal, which I hear it's very, has a lot of stone in it. Anyway, our good friend Cash.
Hey, everybody, Cash is here, and you know, that is true. I don't really advertise that, but that wasn't even a position back in the day. However, Dornagal has a notorious taco joint.
I will carry many memorable experiences back to the archive.
That's true. That's true. Oh, gosh. Well, hey, welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Before we get started, buddy, what'd you do in game this week?
It's been a fruitful week.
Go on.
I feel like this was, it felt like something was launching, which was pretty cool. But you know how you get into that mode where you spend time before you log off for the night when something big is coming the next day, and like you're getting stuff ready, you're making sure you have all your affairs in order.
Oh yeah.
And so like I'm on retail that last night before Remix launches, and I'm making sure that, okay, did I do all my dailies? Yes, I did those. Okay. Did I max out my delps week? Yeah, max out my delps. What does my vault look like? Okay, let's take a look and see what it looks like. Cleaning the inventory, moving stuff to the bank, just getting him ready for when I get back to my resto Druid, which at this point, I don't know when that's going to be. It might be a minute. I might log in to like see the transmogs and stuff that I'm getting in Remix, but
yeah,
that was a big part of the end of my week, was making sure that I had all my affairs in order, so I didn't feel like I had any loose ends that I had to go back to before Remix started. And then once Remix hit, like that was it. I know we're going to get into it a bit, but you want to talk about getting locked into something that was new for me, because I didn't do Mists of Pandaria Remix. This is my first Remix, and I am having so much damn fun.
Oh yeah,
doing it.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's what I've been doing this week. I jumped in. I was excited. I knew the name I wanted. As soon as the servers were up, one of the many Discord servers I'm in pinged everybody that, hey, servers are up. So I'm like, all right, cool. Logged in immediately, got the name I wanted, got to work. Of course, he's a paladin, and just off to the races. And same boat. Like I am on the air.
Hey, you two. You ever think of trying hair growth potion?
No, I haven't. Thank you very much.
I'm telling you, we did, and it worked. Just not where we wanted. Now I'm kind of rocking a hair diaper. But anyway, it's an idea.
That's what you get when you have goblins for a sound crew.
Can we even air that?
I think we let it fly, bro, but it's pretty obvious we didn't introduce the damn goblins and now they're pissed.
Oh my gosh. I can already hear, not the HOA, what do they call that? The people that, when it's like the, not HOA, that's for homes, but whatever it is, like whenever you're like live on the air and they're like guardians
the
of
FCC.
the FCC, yeah. What's Stormwind's version? Oh gosh. Anyway, yeah, so we have goblins here. Welcome, fellas. That was good. But yeah, hopped into Remix, had a good time with it, still having a great time with it. It's fun because it's fun. Like, it's just so much available to you. And honestly, we should probably jump into that at some point before we get into the news. I know we weren't planning on it, but my goodness, man, like that it's fun. It's just pure fun.
Yeah, definitely worth. I mean, we have a pack show, but it is definitely worth a blurb. It's worth a small conversation here as we get into the news for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody, again, thank you so much for pushing play, hanging out with us here on Azeroth Morning Radio. We're so stoked to have you here with us. This week on the show, we have the Heroes Call Board is back, of course. Midnight combat changes. We told you in episode 2, we're talking about it this week, and we are. And SNARK makes its return. But before we get there, let's go to a brief commercial. We'll be right back.
Hey there, adventurers. Ever get tired of losing sight of your known party members in crowded raids?
Does anybody see the healer?
Sick of tripping over your old so-called tiny allies in battlegrounds?
That was my fault.
Well, yeah, I got the solution for you. The all-in-one, one-of-a-kind, gnome enlarger 5000.
Oh, hey guys, that's still
It feels awesome.
That's right. With just one push of a button, we take your fun-sized gnome and make them party-sized. Twice the fireballs, triple the monocle glare. And don't worry, we've totally worked out the, side effects.
is that a hand coming out of my butt?
Gnome enlarger. Make your friends huge. Order now, we'll throw in a free gnome-sized step stool for nostalgia purposes. Perfect for remembering how short they used to be before they became raid bosses.
Okay, that's insulting.
Warning. Gnome Enlarger 5000 not approved by Tinkers Union. Side effects may include giant boots stuck in Stormwind canals, unintentional building demolition, or your gnome demanding to be called Your Highness. All sales final.
I'm Morpork, Tichondrius' baddest warrior. When I'm not lifting heavy weights and setting them down again, I'm listening to Azeroth Morning Radio.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So, the Heroes Call.
Heroes Call.
Smack!
What's your name, soldier?
Pile, Private Pile!
Sergeant Pepper. Yeah, Heroes Call board this week. We have a few little shout outs here. As you know, we like to shout out the community. Community is what drives WoW. It is what makes up a lot of the fun that we have in the game. And there's so many people playing World of Warcraft. And the personalities out there, different lives, different timelines, different all kinds of things bring together this massive community of people that love the world of Azeroth. And we like to highlight them. So we have a few tonight. The first one is I want to give a massive shout out to a subreddit on Reddit. I want to give a shout out to a subreddit on Reddit. We put out some feelers out there. We're not huge Reddit guys. I will say that. We're not huge Reddit guys because in the past, Reddit has been what we might call, como se dice, toxic AF.
No, dude.
The smell of straw and cow dung. This place brings back a lot of memories.
And
You go there with the best intentions. You're like a genuine, it's like when a child goes to a toy store and walks out like it just, like maybe the toys were all covered in rust and everything and it wasn't what they hoped it'd be. That's what Reddit is oftentimes when you go there. You're like, hey, everybody, You're like, why is this a post even here? Loud noises.
I think that it definitely goes for Jibs and definitely goes for me, is that when we come into a space, whether it's, social media, whatever it is, we come with kindness. Like, we really, honestly, from our hearts, we come with kindness. And I'm not a big, social media guy anyway, but I still, I'm on Twitter and Facebook and all the things. Not all of them. I'm not on TikTok yet.
Oh.
I refuse because I'm old.
Yeah.
And I can't do it. I cannot. I've not brought myself to get on TikTok yet. But anyway, I digress. We always come at things from a place of kindness. And whenever I've gone to Reddit for just to ask a question, to put something in, I'm not like a super Redditor guy where I've got a billion posts, but it always feels like you're walking across the moat. Remember that game Pitfall?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You had to walk across the rivers and you're stepping on alligator heads.
Yeah.
That's what Reddit feels like to me. And somebody invariably gets me. Yeah. And so anyway, we were doing some promotions for the show because Jibs and I are super excited about this project. Really excited. It dwarfs most of the conversations that we have nowadays because we want to talk about the show. We want to talk about, hey, we should add this or we should try this or, this would be super fun and things are going well and blah, blah, all that stuff. So we were doing some promotions and we put a post out and just got bit for
jumped up
and it was like a super humble advertisement. Just like, hey, we're trying this thing. Come out and take a look if it's your thing, and just got bit. And we were like, oh my God. But a subreddit reached out and super cool. It was a gentleman by the name of System of Cells, and he runs a subreddit for Reddit called Casual WoW. And so I struck up a conversation with this gentleman and just super inviting, super good guy, trying to build up this Casual WoW subreddit. And I was just very impressed, right off the bat, with this person's kindness, because I felt like it kind of mirrors our own humility. Just really, really nice guy. And anyway, if you are on Reddit and you're looking for WoW communities on Reddit or looking to add one to your repertoire, the Casual WoW subreddit is a community for WoW players who enjoy the less stressful aspects of the game, such as questing, collecting, appearances, dungeons, and player housing. But overall, they just have a really cool monitored open community of WoW players that lean toward the casual side. And from what I have experienced there, it's been a pretty good spot to go. So, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. There was something else that came up, and honestly, had we not received a DM from one of our close friends, Our Death, we had no idea that this was, number one, a show, which I felt terrible for, but number two, that we even got the shout out. So this is coming from the podcast Solo Queue. Go check them out, folks, after you're done here at AMR today. They gave us so much love on their recent episode from, I think it was around the 8-minute mark, so 8 to 9 minute mark, and just gave a huge warm welcome, which was so unexpected and was so kind and so nice. Solo Queue, it was so nice. So be sure and go check out that podcast as well. Really liked the show. It was awesome.
As a matter of fact, as soon as I heard that, I was driving today and I popped the show on and I was like, oh my God, this show makes a lot of sense. It's Solo Queue. He's a solo podcaster and he podcasts about how he plays the game solo.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to call him casual. I'm going to call him a bit of a neckbearder because the guy has 65 characters. 65 characters. And I was like, dude, I've been playing this game since launch and I have nowhere near that many characters. That is a freaking commitment. I can see if you're saving names and such, but man, I have the hardest time, nurturing my Druid, let alone 65 characters. And he admittedly, he doesn't play them all, but he just has a bunch. There'll be an event going on and he'll just roll a character and go do the event.
That's awesome.
And then that character lives in his little army.
It's awesome.
So But anyway, it's a really good show. They have really good. He's got really good sound quality. He's got bumpers and fun stuff that goes on in there. But and I have to take my hat off to anybody who does a solo podcast.
Yeah,
it's incredible, and he's pulling it off.
Yeah.
So good on you, man, and thank you for your very heartfelt shout out for our show. That was really cool.
Agreed.
All right, last on the agenda for Heroes Call Board was something that I had to mention because, like last week when I mentioned Ragnon Gaming's Druid Resto Druid videos, that one helped me out a ton. And this one also has helped me out a bunch. And it is another one of my go-to resources on YouTube for tutorials and just, ways to save time and stuff. And they're very, very, very good about this. If you've never watched any videos from the Comeback Kids, do it. Throw them a like, throw them a sub, because their videos are very, very well thought out and very well produced. So anyway, this one in particular that I wanted to shout out this week on the Heroes Call is their Legion Remix Guide. And it is entitled How to Absolutely Stomp Legion Remix and Earn Every Reward Fast. And they're not kidding. I took a bunch of notes from their video, and I've been sharing it with folks in our community and some of our friends as we work through Legion Remix. And he covers everything from the different currencies that you're gonna accumulate and utilize, what priorities to take from day one, even though we're on day 3. As of recording of the show, we're on day 3. How to progress quickly. He talks about some really good farming spots, which ain't gonna be so good farming spots after this show. And then what to do at max level. So anyway, if you're looking for a really good guide, get yourself a paper and pen or get yourself your phone, pop up a brand new note and start taking some notes on this video, because it really does help you understand how Legion Remix works and how to maximize your time. So yeah, just a very impressive video, and I loved it. And it's much appreciated that those things are out there.
Agreed.
Breaking news. Brought to all of yous by the Goblin News Network.
All right, so top news for this week, folks. Now, this is kind of I guess at this point, this is a old-ish article. Yeah, actually, it will be by the time this comes out. So this came out October 1st. However, we talked about last week how we were going to cover it this episode because we really wanted to spend time talking about this, because this has made a lot of waves in the community, and it's honestly been very enjoyable to sit back and just listen to what everyone has to say about this. And this is coming to us from warcraft.com. So it is developer insight, combat for everyone in midnight. And that speaks truth to a lot of what World of Warcraft is. It seems as though it's moving more and more so. That was one of the things that kind of brought us here all this time over the years. Is it just kind of fits us? It's the 99% vibe. Like everything we talk about here on the show, it's for everyone. And so that's kind of what they're doing with the combat for everyone in midnight. And this is a very lengthy article, but we're kind of just going to take our time and go through it. In short, combat changes are coming in midnight. We know that, especially after this article. And there's one thing that I want to read verbatim before we get started, because it kind of sets everything up for a discussion for you and I. And it says, quote, "We are updating every class specialization with an eye towards approachability by reducing complexity and making gameplay more intuitive. We are beginning by focusing on what makes each specialization unique and designing gameplay that matches their theme, so your character's personality and style are reflected in how you play. Our goal is for the most appealing, visible elements of your spec to be what matters most in gameplay. That often means managing resources, tracking a few key buffs and debuffs, using ability charges strategically, and responding to important triggered effects, also known as procs." So they're redoing everything. Let me rephrase that. They're redoing combat. They're making it more approachable. They're changing things up. And there's been a lot, and we've already seen the first wave of kind of what those patch notes may look like. And I believe they were 100 and what was it, like over 140 plus pages or something at this point?
Yeah, according to Bellular's, one of Bellular's latest videos is 38,000 words.
Wow.
That's a lot of words.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's a short story. That's a novella.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and kudos to them for going through all of those changes the way that they have, and so in depth like they did. And the core theme for this with them is that their aim is to make World of Warcraft combat more approachable and intuitive, and while not losing the depth and or mastery that players enjoy. That seems to be a thing that's going around. So they're talking a lot about, they're going to be, I would say, streamlining a lot of the classes, I think. To me, this is Warcraft Combat 2.0. That's how I see this. I don't know how you see all this, but to me, it's they're updating the combat to match the updates with the game.
The one thing I don't want to see it turn into, because this has happened in the past, and this is going to out me with my elder age again. But have any of you out there experienced what happened with Star Wars Galaxies way back in the day?
Oh,
I know. And I hate to bring it up here because I really do have trust in Blizzard that they're going to pull this off and knock it out of the park. I didn't have that same trust in Sony Online Entertainment way back in the day because they completely pooped on that game, like badly. So if you don't know, I'll sum it up really quickly. Star Wars Galaxies was a Star Wars massively multiplayer online role-playing game that I believe launched in 2009, and I sunk a ton. I'm a massive Star Wars fan, so I sunk a ton of time into that game. And the game systems had all these little intricacies, and it was truly a Star Wars sandbox. Like, it was really a lot of fun because of all the things you could do in the game. And the combat systems could be complex. A lot of the systems in the game were very deep and very complex. Like, you know, you had crafting and surveying for resources and just so much stuff. It could be anything from a merchant, a diplomat, a dancer in a cantina, all the way to a Jedi Knight. And that was you could only be a Jedi only if you had unlocked a whole bunch of classes and maxed them all out in the correct order. And all that did was open up an additional character slot for you to have a force sensitive character. Super cryptic until people figured it out, but super cryptic, amazingly cool, amazingly exclusive in certain aspects where if you saw a Jedi in town, it was amazing to see that because it's so rare, right? Mm-hmm. They came back and it was almost overnight. That's what it seemed like to me, because at the time I was not paying attention to development cycles the way I do now. I was not a patch note reader like I am now, but it almost seemed like overnight they put these combat changes in the game, and now all of a sudden everybody can be a Jedi. You just got to pick the class. You could take everything that you'd earn in the game, all your points and everything from your classes, and you could just put it into whatever class you wanted. And it completely changed the gameplay and the feel of the game. I don't think that's what Blizzard is going to do here. I think it's a far cry, but that is in the deepest, darkest corner of my heart. That's a worry that this is kind of what they're alluding to. And there's a second point that I want to bring up. Maybe I'll bring it up in a little bit and kind of expand upon it a little bit. But do you think maybe they're making things a little bit easier because they're prepping for a console release?
Oh, 100%. And I would even go as far as to say eventually a mobile release.
Oh, no.
Did I push a button?
Yeah, because I hate mobile games. I can't stand mobile games, dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely priming for a console release. You have the one button rotation.
Right.
That's something we've never really talked about. I love the fact that is in the game. That is made. I have seen posts where people who, due to physical disabilities, they were never able to attain a rating in. It was one post. I wish I could remember exactly. I would link it too. But this person could never hit rating in arenas, in PvP arenas, because of the rotation, they were able to finally achieve the rating they were looking for and get the set they've, get a set, because that means something. And it was just, and they got that because of the 1-button rotation. And I'm just like, I love the fact it's in the game. It makes it it increases accessibility across the board for people who need it. And, it's a great resource. And so, yeah, absolutely, I could see a console release.
I am 100% on board with you there. I love the 1-button thing. I think it's great. I think it goes right along with things like the arachnophobia mode. Could you imagine having a crippling fear that was not your choice and not able to play a game because there's freaking spiders everywhere in World of Warcraft, right?
Yeah.
And you click on this arachnophobia mode and it completely changes your ability to play the game. That is a company that's paying attention to their people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Of course, they're paying attention to money too, but at the same time,
isn't their business?
It's a business. But a lot more people get to play the game because of attention to detail like that.
Yeah.
So, I mentioned the Star Wars Galaxy thing, and in the deepest part of my heart, that's what I'm worried about happening. Do I think that's going to happen? No. And I considered this a lot. I'm not, I'm an older dude. I don't like change. As you get older, you're just like, I don't like change. I just had this conversation about how Ragnar's making me a better druid, right? Now I can, as he says, I can spin the plates. You need a hot, you need a hot, you need a hot, you need a second hot, you need a second hot. And I do all these little heal over times, and I'm just constantly looking at that while I'm dodging things on the ground and trying to stay out of the poop. And I'm finally feeling more comfortable doing that and learning my class. And now things are going to change. So for a minute, I was like, dang nabbit, these things are going to change again. And then it came down to what I really felt about it as after I had some consideration. And that is, if they're going to simplify things a little bit, what are they going to simplify? So of course, patch note reader, and like everybody out there, I know what you do when you read patch notes. You go, Hunter, meh. Demon Hunter, meh. Paladin, meh.
Well,
there's my class. You go right to your class. You know what I mean?
I'm offended.
You should be. But you go right to your class and you read those patch notes. That's exactly what I did. And, for Druid. And I got to the resto part and I started reading and I was like, these changes are actually kind of smart. These changes are not going to completely change the way that my class plays. My class identity is still there. The flow is going to get better. It's going to get a little bit easier to maintain a lot of my heals over time. And when I started looking at it from that perspective, it totally changed my mind and made me more interested in a lot of these bullet points that they're putting out there. So one of them being, players often find WoW's combat and talent systems overly complex with too many abilities, buffs, and debuffs to manage. So these new changes are going to create, the difficulty in that creates barriers for both brand new players and returning players. And this is something that every one of us that has friends who have stepped away from WoW and have tried to come back, we all have at least one friend that's like, dude, I am so lost. I don't even know where to start. Yeah. And that's not just with content, right? That's with the skills of the game.
Right. And that's honestly an art, I think, when it comes to MMO design, period. We saw it in ESO. We've seen it in other games as well, where a game is able to successfully hold someone by the hand just the right amount to lead them from confusion to an understanding of what they're doing and be able to fully embrace the game that they're playing. And that's their goal with this as well. Because think about it. How important is combat in an MMO? Is that not one of the most heavily graded and judged things by players when any new MMO comes out? We just came off of playing Ashes of Creation and testing and doing all of that. We saw in that community there just how important combat was, to a developing MMO. Fast forward to this giant who's been in the ring, and has been holding the crown for years at this point. This is something that And I would caution everyone who's listening to be encouraged by that. This is not something they take lightly, because they're looking at this from the goal of approachability without dumbing it down. And that's a great goal to have, because then we know as players, hey, that's the focus. That's one of the main focuses.
Yeah, so to me, it looks like they're altering your combat flow. And I don't know if it was I think it was last show, we were talking about how one of the most amazing things about World of Warcraft is that it can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. And at this point in 2025, yeah, you can go out and pick flowers. You can turn on the one button rotation, and you can slam dungeons and have no problems, because now you're just hitting the one button and you can pay complete attention to the poop on the ground and all the things that you don't want to slip and end up in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can leave the one button rotation off and not have a Hakili or any other combat assisting add-ons on, or the native combat assist. You can have all that stuff off and research your character and know what should come next, because you've studied it and you've practiced it and you have become a master of your class. So again, the game can be as simple as you want it to be or as complex as you want it to be. What it looks to us like Blizzard is trying to do is to make that flow in between, whatever level you choose to engage in your character's combat, to make that more efficient. And I'm going to take my class, the Resto Druid, as an example. It looks like it's going to be easier. They're making changes to make it easier for me to maintain a lot of my big buffs. Like, all the stuff that's happening in the background that I know is not happening in the background, like, my mastery stacks and all these different things that I need to keep running. If I don't have HOTS on it's just a simple example. I'm using a regrowth, which is one of my heals on a Resto Druid. If I use it by itself, it doesn't heal for very much. But if I use it on players that I've already placed and have been maintaining heals over time on, different heals over time, and I have stacks and stacks of mastery up in that top right corner of my screen, when that regrowth hits, I'll have somebody that'll go from damn near dead to full in one heal, because I have maximized the amount of stacks that they have on them. And that's getting into the mastery side of your class and playing it truly correct. Now, for Blizzard to come through and make that flow better to where it's easier to maintain those HOTS, and if you have one skill on, then it refreshes another, that's making my gameplay a lot more fun. And like, what's one of the things I was talking about just the other day, Jibs, on getting back, because I rolled another Resto Druid in Legion Remix, okay? Call me crazy, but I did it. I rolled another Resto Druid, and I'm going through Remix on a fresh Resto Druid. I mentioned it to a group of friends that we were running dungeons with the other night, that going back to the basics of my Resto Druid, I am having so much fun running dungeons, because there's a lot more cat weaving going on, where I'm able to, put my HOTS on, maintain my heals, and hop right back into dealing some damage. And I really like that. But when you get into those high mythic keys in retail, for me, like, the cat weaving started to disappear a little bit, because there was so much maintenance that I had to keep on my group in order to keep everybody alive. So that's it. I know that was like a long tangent on it, but that's where I'm landing on this thing. I know we're going to get into some more of these bullet points on what their goals are, but that's what I'm seeing this as. An increase in efficiency for my gameplay flow is going to increase my fun factor exponentially and make me really love my class.
Agreed. And some of those things that they're looking at doing is, again, and you kind of already mentioned it, but reducing player overload. So lowering actions per minute for overly spammy specs, trimming ability bloat and proc overload that flood the UI, preventing resource overflows that make management meaningless. And then the last one here, simplifying overly complex spells like Adaptive Swarm, Surge of Power, and Blackout Combo. I love the fact that we are in a place as a Warcraft community that the game is at a place where it's capable of doing things like this. It's capable of taking a hard look at its combat, which is dude, that is such a crucial core element of an MMORPG.
It's everything.
Success.
It's everything.
It's everything. It has to feel right. There's so much. Oh my gosh. There's so much that hinges on the combat in any MMO. The fact that we're in a place as a community and as a game that they can take a hard look at this and streamline this is great. Because when I see something like this, I don't necessarily think of the now. I think of post Last Titan. I think of 5 years from now. What does that look like for how was the game able to build because they were able to adjust now? And I love the fact that, you know, you talk about flow. One of the things that they really discussed was leaning more into the archetype of your class because of these changes. The ability to be able to lean more into that archetype fantasy. Like for me, I'm a paladin at heart. Like that, I love it. I love it. And Legion has brought out in me the absolute, no doubt, protection paladin in me.
This is true. Because if you could wield a light forged sword in real life, you would. But it turns out law enforcement frowns upon that. So you probably shouldn't do that.
Turns out you probably don't want to walk down the street with one of those. I can't imagine why.
No. Yeah. You're either going to get tased or you're going to get shot. So don't do it.
Don't do that thing. And you did not hear that from AMR. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's being able to lean more into class fancy, eliminating bloat. And they're also talking about a new goal of easy to learn, challenging to master.
There you go.
Dude.
Goalpost, dude.
Exactly. This is what you want. This is what you want in any game that you love. You want it to be approachable, but you want to be able to see, Cash, when someone has mastered that class.
Yes. This is breaking down the barriers to entry to where there's little to none, right? And some classes are going to be harder than others. And I hate to bring up the elephant in the room, but Beastmaster Hunter, right? It's recommended as a beginning class, and it's easy to play. It's easy to play and it's super fun to play. You just stand in the back and you fling pointy sticks and it works, but there is still complexity to that class. And the way that I bring that, I love Beastmaster Hunter. I love it.
Oh, I love Hunter. I love a good Hunter.
I love Hunters. Like that is, if I'm talking Druid Hunters, man, it's like they're right next to each other for me. I landed on Druid for quite a while now. But when you have that range, that ability to have that range to where you can play the class as simple as you want, or you can dive into the nuts and bolts. And nuts and bolts are still going to be there, friends, for you to pick up and put together. And this is what I think about. Like, everybody knows that you have a million utility skills on, pick a class, any class, there's a million utility skills. How many of you have truly mastered your rotation and use of all those utility skills? I haven't.
I definitely haven't.
It would probably take me years to do so. It would take anybody years to do so, you know, except for some of the most skilled folks out there. And there's a bunch. There's a bunch of people out there who are way better gamers than I am. But this is going to allow you to have less time setting up your basic kit, whatever it may be, healing, tanking, DPSing. You get your basic kit up and you really start, you know, down that path of, okay, my rotation is really hitting hard. It's looking good right now. Now you will have a little bit extra time to consider utilizing situationally some of those additional utility skills. So I think this is a win. As easy as you want it to be, as difficult as you want it to be.
It's exciting, you know, and it's hard. It can be a hard pill to swallow for a lot of players. And I totally get it, because we're hearing about something before we're seeing it, you know, before we're seeing it in action, and we're seeing, you know, kind of the results of the labor, whether good or bad or good or bad, depending on the player you talk to. And as a result, it's really, really important to those who are in this right now, when you are in the alpha, to really give that feedback. So like right now, the first alpha wave, they're rebuilding all 40 specs, all of them, using these design goals. That's insane. Insane. And then they're going to be doing level lock testing at first. Hero and Apex talents are going to be coming later. Blizzard is looking for feedback on how well goals are met for each spec, any remaining clarity or visibility issues, and whether builds feel complete or various content types. So like dungeons, delves, raids, PvP, etc. Overall, like this is kind of the capstone on this thing. Overall, this is Blizzard's message. Quote, "We want WoW to be a game for everyone. Whether you're new, returning, or chasing mythic world firsts, Midnight should make combat clearer, fun, and rewarding." End quote. That's what you want. That's what you want. We have seen a lot of MMOs come and go. Divines, I'm thinking yes. So Titans, no. We have covered many of them. Probably more than we should have, realistically. And you've seen a lot of niches come and go. But when you can have a game that aims to be for everyone, that aims to give you the ability to play and also push to master if you so choose, to have an easy game, an easy kind of quote unquote cozy, how we discuss it here, cozy Warcraft experience, or you can be up there dripping with sweat and taking dirt naps with Jibs and Mythics. This is exactly where you want to be, where you can make a game for everyone and players can choose how invested, how difficult they want to make it.
I'm decoding that entire message you just said. You're going to turn on the one button rotation, aren't you, and go into Mythics with us?
I mean, I may not tell you. No, just for kicks and giggles.
And you know what, man? I don't disparage it at all, because we've heard it even with our own friends. And I'm going to shout him out here because he's a good friend of ours and we've played games together for a long time. Tested Weevil. Our buddy Tested Weevil. Don't ask me where he got his name because I still don't know. I think he told the story one time and I don't remember what it was. So sorry, Weevil.
I think of it like a badger every time. I know it has nothing to do with it, but that's where my head goes.
He's just this super kind-hearted gentleman. And he's been a friend of ours for a long time, playing games for a long time. And he's getting back into Warcraft and he wants to run content with us, but he's like super hesitant at times. And we convinced him, turn on the one button rotation and just have fun with us. And then we're in the middle of these dungeons, you know, after some time he's been using this thing and his DPS is going up. He's having more fun. He's cracking jokes. He's not so nervous. He's not like freaking out about his DPS and he's just enjoying the game more. That's one story of one person that we know.
Oh yeah.
Where changes that Blizzard is making to make the game more accessible for everybody is working. And even if you use that one button rotation to learn your class and then turn everything back on when you're more comfortable with it, do it that way if that's the way you want to do it. You know, use the rotation assist. Whatever it takes, these tools are there. And you think of all the games that are out there that don't have anything like this to make the game more accessible for people. After 20 plus years, Blizzard they have the time, they have the know-how, and they have the foresight to be able to make this game accessible for more people at their level at that time. And I think it's a wonderful thing. I'm in full support of this. We don't know how the combat changes are going to turn out. We have not had enough feedback for it yet, but I have very high hopes.
On paper, this looks great. On paper, I'm super stoked, super excited. I can't wait to play that thing, to see how it feels, to see how it's turned out, to be able to give feedback whenever we can. You know, that sort of thing. I love it. Super stoked. I love this.
Pop quiz, hotshot. Is it going to fly?
Oh, wow. That's not fair. It's not even out. Hang on. Neither was the other thing we did. Is it going to fly? You know what? I'm not going to answer. I want to know if the audience thinks it's going to fly.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's not gonna fly. The glare coming off your head.
Can I do that? I'm doing it. That's what's going to happen. Folks,
I want to hear. He asked me permission. Do whatever you want. Yeah, Yes.
Folks, is this going to fly? And if you know what that means, then you know you listened to episode number 1. But anyway, let us know. Is the combat changes going to fly? Let us know in the comments on Spotify. A lot of you are talking there, even on YouTube as well. You know, let us know. Dude, it's time for SNARK.
Ooh, friends. We missed SNARK last week. We missed it very, very badly because SNARK is super fun. If you don't know, here at Azeroth Morning Radio, our goblins have made an invention for us. We have a little contraption that picks some topics for us to discuss throughout the week. So we got a new topic coming up with SNARK. It stands for the Segment Navigator and Randomizer Kiosk. Fire it up, boys!
SNARK Online.
All right, apparently that was an Earthen or a Tauren, depending on what episode you're listening to.
Yeah, depending on whether or not they visited the taco stand in Dornegal. Might sound a little more moist after the taco stand. Okay, sorry about that. Jibs, what did it pop out?
All right, so YouTube Loot Crate. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so here's how we'll do this. We'll scour YouTube and find an interesting World of Warcraft related video, give credit to the creator, and discuss the spoils. Today is...
Ooh. Luckily, we prepared for this before the show.
We're doing it live.
Yeah. So, friends, I came across a very cool video that was by Tettles on YouTube. And this video is entitled The
7-layer dip. Is that what it is?
7-layer dip.
Hey, learn to read, Baldy.
I was about to say, redo. Take 2. Okay. Now, Tettles, YouTube video, amazing video, title, The 7 Levels of World of Warcraft Players. And I wanted to go through this a little bit. We're going to fire through what these levels are and try and figure out where we land in these different levels of World of Warcraft player. And
yeah, be thinking, listeners, where you're at as well as we go through these. I got a feeling we're going to be a blend of some of these, but yeah, let it rip.
I think I'm pretty solid on one of these levels. But anyway, let's go through this. This video is really fun, and I think it's incredibly accurate, to be honest with you. So anyway, it starts from level 1, goes all the way to level 7, and it basically details player activity and why they would be put into these different levels of player. So level 1, and you got to be paying attention because you got to level yourself, bro. I need this. There's a test at the end of this. Okay, level 1, according to Tettles, is the tourist or the explorer. Now, this is a casual player who logs in, wanders around, catches a little bit of lore, maybe does some low-level dungeons and some quest lines. So basically playing for like story. Ooh, this is a really pretty area. Some social stuff, and is like challenge or pressure? Nah, not for me. That's level 1. Okay. Mm-hmm. Level 2. This is the true casual or social player. A little bit more frequent play than level 1. They participate in social content. So things like pet battles, achievements, world events, but they don't really stress about optimization of their character. They don't care what their eye level is. Okay. They're playing to have fun. Then there's level 3. This is the quote unquote normal player. These players are keeping up with the expansion, doing dungeons, raiding at a moderate level. Maybe they're doing some LFR. Maybe they're dabbling in some heroic. They're digging into gearing, and they're looking up guides. Like Zygor is their friend, right? Wowhead is their friend. Mm-hmm. So they want to keep up. They like the challenge, but maybe not have the time or the inkling to push too hard. Mm-hmm. That's level 3. Level 4, the optimizer and theory crafter. Now, these are the people that pay very close attention to numbers. They might have a spreadsheet or two. They like stats. They're looking at builds. They're looking at best rotations and practicing them. They're looking at sims, logs, aiming to play well, aiming to play efficiently, caring about pushing DPS. Like they are looking at those numbers. And
I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a neon arrow that has appeared above you and is flashing down upon you right now.
You don't know whether or not that's me.
You don't know nothing, Jon Snow.
Shiz. Okay. You might be right. Okay. Level 5. All right. Get into the serious here. We're definitely out of the casual. This is the competitive or the flagship player. Now, these players are doing high level content, right? They're pushing mythic plush. Wow. Let me remove whatever's in my mouth. They are pushing high keys. They may be the top in logs. They're striving for the highest rankings they can get. They are motivated by competition, performance, mastery. That's level 5, the competitive player. Now here's level 6. Okay? Starting to get freaking super scary.
Yeah, no kidding.
These are among some of the most elite players at level 6. These are the raiders, the world first aspirants. Okay? Their focus is on endgame raids. All they're doing throughout the week is making sure their characters are ready. They're farming stuff for crafting. They're crafting the best possible potions and foods for their guilds. Their focus is on world progression, being in a top guild, which that is difficult to do, friends. If you've ever raided at top levels, there are some serious parameters to get into some of these guilds. But these level 6 world first aspirants are looking for cutting edge strategies. Okay. Their time investment is high. They're focused on optimization and all facets of mechanics of the game, their gear, and group synergy, which is super important, which is practice. Okay. Finally, at level 7, neckbearders. That's all it says. I'm just kidding. So this is the 0.1% that is probably not listening to Azeroth morning radio right now because they're too busy trying to perfect their stuff. The 0.1%, this is called the beast or the perfectionist, absolutely pushing the limits every millisecond, every mechanic, every 0.1, every piece of gear is optimized. They live and breathe. Wow. This may or may not be their full-time job, right? The game is central to these people's identity. They're testing theory. They're pushing new tactics. They're breaking the meta. It's a pretty far cry from the tourist or the explorer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And again, it shows the range of this game.
Yes, thank you. Yep.
Were you going to go there?
That's exactly where I was going to go.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of this game is you can be anything from level 1 to level 7, anything in between. You can be a mix of all those things.
Oh, sweetheart, you could do anything you want in your life. Just put your mind to it. I want to be the tourist. When you compare it to the beast, I want to be the tourist. So, okay. Right. So there it is. We've laid down the gauntlet. I think you already did it, but I want you to tell me where I'm at.
You are absolutely, without a doubt. Now, I will preface this with saying this. You can be any one of these, depending on the day and the time. I don't think, and I'm thinking, for speaking to you specifically, I don't believe you ever go above level 5. I don't believe that you're ever above the competitive / flagship player. Like the Raider World First aspirant, like that's not you. The 0.1%, that's not you. I feel like up to level 5 is where you're at. You can be any one of those under that. So you could be the tourist, the casual, the casual / social player, the quote unquote normal player, the optimizer. You're very much an optimizer. That is 100% you. However, you can be any of the other things up to level 5, depending on the day.
Right.
But if I had to pick one, if I'm forcing myself to pick one, you are absolutely a level 4 optimizer / theory crafter. You are very passionate, and this is specifically taken a more intense turn here within the last several weeks due to your intense desire to master your class especially after finding Ragnon's videos and really putting them into practice. I watched your healing change after you watched those videos. You are, without a doubt, a level 4 optimizer theory crafter.
Okay. And I 100% believe that that's where you're at. Is level 4.
That's where I'm at?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. That's where I feel you're at. You may dabble in level 3, which is the normal player.
Uh-huh.
But I think, and maybe it's due to time constraints.
Uh-huh.
But I 100% think that you're level 4.
Really? Huh.
And maybe if it's not necessarily paying super close attention to numbers and stats and builds and rotations and stuff like that in PvE, you are most definitely doing it in PvP. And you're good at it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I think that's where we're at. And honestly, like for our show, I don't know, maybe we out leveled our own show a little bit. Maybe we should be a 3 or a 2.
I honestly though, I really firmly believe this. Like if I don't have a ton of time, I may be a level 3 or a level 1 that night, you know? I'll tell you this, if I have a whole day of gameplay that I can chill.
You're a 7.
Then the max I personally feel like ever go is a 5. And that is strictly until I can get comfortable in like the higher end PvE stuff. Strictly that's PvP for me. Because I know the system. I've been in it for so long and I'm just trying, I'm very goal oriented. That's just how I am. And I'm just trying desperately to get the freaking elite transmog, and I'm so close to my rating. I'm like 500 rating and I'll have it. And so I'm just trying to knock that thing out if I have a full Saturday.
If you have a full Saturday, dude, you're like yelling, screaming, and looking up stats and putting in applications and like, I have a Saturday off. Let me into method. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Oh, you know, one thing honestly though, one thing I would love to get more into generally is I genuinely love the pacing of raids. I love the pace of raids versus mythics. It's like, there's a certain level of, and I'm not talking like, you know, like mythics or anything crazy. I'm just like, on a normal raid, I love that pace, bro. That's fun. That's chill fun.
But would you like the pace of mythic raids?
I don't know that is in the cards ever, but I mean, let's be honest. We're a show for the 99%. I fall in that 99%. I don't think that, I mean, I would love to see it. I think that would be exciting. Now, could I achieve that thing? Bro, right now I lead our mythic team in dirt naps, so I don't know that.
And it's okay. I mean, like I think where we're at with the game is okay, and I think the folks out there need to know that wherever you land on this list, level 1 through 7, that is okay.
That's right.
Play the damn game and play it your way and enjoy it. And if anybody has a problem with it, find another group of friends.
That's right. Come game with us.
Yeah, come game with us. Like, just enjoy the way that you're playing the game. And like, I'll freely admit, I've never done a mythic raid. I've only dabbled in heroic raid. Right?
Jeez, man, that's something else.
I can crush the hell out of some heroic dungeons. They're super easy.
Yeah, we finished the dungeons and we're like, yeah, suck it. You had that coming.
Suck it, Trebek. Yeah, totally. But like, I mean, we have a World of Warcraft podcast, and like, that's 100% honesty that I've never stepped foot in a mythic raid. I'm terrified to step foot in a mythic raid because I haven't cleared all those same things on heroic. I've just dabbled in heroic raids. So over time, and as we get, I mean, I think you and I are both with this podcast and with our investment in Warcraft, this latest round, like, we're 100% all in, having a blast. So I have no doubt that we're going to push those things here in the future, probably in the near future. But, you know, as for right now, like, I've played this game since launch. I was playing EverQuest 2 and really enjoying EverQuest 2, and this thing called World of Warcraft came out and was getting rave reviews, and I was like, man, I'll give it a try. Canceled my EverQuest 2 subscription that week. It was done. I was like, nope, I'm playing this Warcraft thing. Yeah. So ever since then, it's been back and forth to World of Warcraft and a bunch of other MMOs until now we finally realized that this game has, for the most part, always had every feature we're looking for in an MMO. And that's why we landed back here. So like our seriousness for Warcraft is through the roof right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably my favorite thing right now, and probably has been for years, and I probably just didn't realize it. Part of my all-time favorite thing in this game is collecting. Whether it's transmogs or mounts or toys.
Or dirt from right next to your face when you're on the ground.
Or the soil from the mythic floors.
Look, I have soil from Elwyn Forest. I'm going to put it in this jar and keep it.
I'll out myself. I absolutely came to last Sunday's mythic rounds, forgot to swap out of my PvP spec, didn't have a cleanse on, and they ribbed me good, and I earned it, every bit of it. And of course, then I was taking dirt naps, and I pulled like the whole first half of Operation Floodgate. You might as well, if you had like this is a crap show moment, that was that for me. It was that day.
But here's the beauty of the group that we've chosen to play with. Here's the beauty of it, right? The folks we were running with, and I'm going to shout them out: Caribou and Lunchbox, and S.N.A.R.K, of course. S.N.A.R.K's,
and S.N.A.R.K.
Higher level players, 100% higher level players.
Yeah.
Not a single time did anybody say anything, right?
No.
Other than some fun ribbing.
Yeah, locker room ribbing. That's
it. Jibs outed himself on both the no cleanse, which if there's anybody that's going to notice if you don't have a cleanse, it's pretty much me first. I'm going to notice it real quick.
I didn't have it. Oh, cleanse. Gosh, it was so embarrassing.
Cleanse! Please, for the love of God, cleanse yourself. Yeah. And the other thing was, he just said it. He was just like, I really didn't want to admit it in front of you guys, but I had my PvP spec on the whole time. It was just laughter, right? Just fun laughter. And that's the beauty of finding out what level you're at in this list, and then adjoining yourself, surrounding yourself with players that are of the same mindset. And, there could be a fluctuation of, 2 or 3 up or 2 or 3 down, and nobody cares. And I think that's a beautiful thing about finding the right community for you. But that's why I love this list so much, because it doesn't cement you where you are, but you're kind of like, yeah, that's I'm a level 4 for sure.
Yeah.
As much as you don't want to admit it, I would feel worse admitting that I was a level 7, which I know me. If I was a level 7, if I was a 0.1% just complete beast in this game, something else in my life is suffering. Something else somewhere is dying a miserable death, and it hasn't been touched, watered, hugged, loved, nurtured in several months. I'm not at the point in my life where I can do that. I probably will never be. But anyway, I thought it was fun to go through this. Luckily, S.N.A.R.K picked the right thing for us this week, because this was a really fun one. Folks, if you have not checked out the video, Tettles is actually really funny, and the video is very, very well done. So look up this video on YouTube, the 7 levels of World of Warcraft players by Tettles. Thank you, Tettles.
That's right. Yes. Thank you for that video. And also, folks, you can find it over our episode page over at AzerothMorningRadio.com. Folks, we're going to go to commercial break and wrap up the show. Be right back.
I'm okay.
Has your dungeon been ruined by a faulty Norman Lodger 5000?
Why am I 7 feet tall and on fire?
You may be entitled to an early retirement-sized compensation. Here at Gear Sprocket, Guzzle Fizz, and Boom, We specialize in representing victims of malfunctioning gnomish engineering. From exploding mech suits to spontaneous combustion jetpacks, we know your pain and your payout potential. Friggin' gnomes.
They said I'd stand tall in my next raid, but not like this.
Oof. So don't suffer another wipe alone. Call GG&B Law offices today at 1-800-SUE-GNOMES and let our team of totally legitimate legal experts fight for you. Because when life gives you lemons, screw lemonade. We turn them into a class action.
Gear Sprocket, Guzzlefizz, and Boom not responsible for third-degree burns, party wipes, or unexpected polymorphs during consultation. Results may vary. Batteries not included.
My arm is shrinking again.
That's Gear Sprocket, Guzzlefizz, and Boom, where your misfire could be your payday.
This message brought to you by Azeroth Morning Radio, your daily dose of dungeon drama and lackluster entertainment.
Hey everyone, Cash and Jibs here, and we wanted you to be part of Azeroth Morning Radio.
We're putting together something special to showcase our amazing community right here on the show itself.
All you need to do is record a short voice clip of yourself saying this line and make it your own.
Hi, I'm your character name, and when I'm not in something funny, personal, or totally chaotic, I'm listening to Azeroth Morning Radio.
Here's a few examples. Hi, I'm Leaf Spinner, and when I'm not falling off Zeppelins, I'm listening to Azeroth Morning Radio. Hi, I'm Leaf Spinner. When I'm not raiding at 3 a.m., I'm listening to Azeroth Morning Radio.
Keep it short, have fun with it, and don't worry about perfection. We want your real personality and in-game charm to shine through. Quick tip, you don't need fancy gear, just use the voice recorder app on your phone, hit record, and send us the file. Pretty easy.
Once you've got your clip, email it to us at azerothmorningradio@gmail.com. We'll pick our favorites to feature in future episodes, so you might just hear your own voice on the show. Because let's be real, Azeroth's always better when we can share it together.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Truthfully, you guys continue to make us feel so welcome in this space. Your kind words, your emails, your comments, it just kind of goes on. And we seriously, thank you so much for hanging out with us, for even just push and play. We really, really appreciate you guys. And if you have enjoyed your time, this is the part where we ask for your help. Couple things. Number one, leave us a review. Whatever podcast app you're using, it genuinely helps us. Most of our listeners, they're across the board on apps everywhere, but the majority are hanging out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So if you're on any of those, if you could leave us a review, that greatly helps the show. But also the thing that we really care about more than a review, tell a friend about the show. It really helps the show grow. And honestly, we want more people like you listening to this podcast. So if you could, take a moment, share the show real quick, send it to a friend you think that may like it. You can visit our website, AzerothMorningRadio.com. You can find full episode transcripts for those who want them there. Learn more about AMR, and of course, you can get in contact with us by sending us your messages. Cash.
Friends, our show is 100% about our community here in Azeroth, and we want to make sure that we're keeping in touch with you. If you have a question or comment, please reach out to us on one of our socials. You can email us at azerothmorningradio@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/Azeroth Morning Radio. You can get us on YouTube, youtube.com/@Azeroth Morning Radio, and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Azeroth Morning Radio. There's not much on Twitch right now, but there will be in the future. Jibs, you had something to say here? That you're typing to me as we're doing this. I don't ad lib. I don't read everything that is on the teleprompter.
I do, and due to my own shame. Folks, if you see something amazing in Azeroth, maybe if there's some kind of initiative going on to help a community member, or something wholesome. Maybe it's you and your wife played the game together for the first time. You and
now
your
she's your ex-wife.
Other. No. And you mistakenly took her into a mythic.
We're not doing divorces?
Well, that last commercial with the lawyers may be able to help you there. But anyway, if you see something, please send it to us. We'll cover it on the Heroes Call board. This community means everything to us. You mean everything to us. Thank you so much.
Last but not least, I want to give a big shout out. I know we did last week in a big way, but we're going to give a shout out to our guild, Pulling Aggro IRL. Friends, great group of people, built on good vibes, built on low pressure, built on your life comes first. This guild was made for adults, professionals, parents, players, and if you'd like to come over and join us over there, absolutely welcoming group of folks with a bunch of great attitudes. So come on over there and join us. You can find them in the Guild Finder in game.
Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you. Have a wonderful week in gaming. May your crits ever be in your favor. Take care, everybody.
And we think we found out what Braun was up to the whole time.
Found a bit of gold!
It's true. Maybe that'll come out in a future episode.
Yep. Look for it.
Job's done.